Hey everybody, it's Martha here. Today's class is a 30-minute Vinyasa Flow, and we're going to be focusing on opening up the hips and the hamstrings, often an area that climbers feel a lot of tightness. All you need is a mat, so when you're ready, let's get started. Coming to a comfortable seat, either sitting cross-legged or coming onto the heels. Grounding through the sitting bones, give length to the spine and softly close over the eyes. Letting the hands fall naturally on the lap or on the knees. Taking a moment here to connect the body, the breath, and the mind. Asking yourself how you really feel today. Amidst all this chaos and confusion, it can be often that we want to change how we feel. If we're feeling sad, we want to feel happy. Sometimes if we're happy, we feel that we don't deserve it and we feel guilty. Rather than trying to change this state of emotion, I'd like you to practice accepting it for what it is and owning that emotion. Knowing that it's okay not to feel 100% all the time. Got the option of taking both hands to the heart here, feeling the heartbeat, using them as a stethoscope to tune in to your body. Offering yourself some words of compassion and self-love. Knowing that you're giving yourself the time now to give back to your mind and your body. Knowing that you have the tools within you to move through whatever the world throws at us. And really, you're exactly where you need to be. Gently opening the eyes. We'll start the warm-up by coming onto our backs. Lying down. Drawing the right knee in close towards the body. The right hand comes over onto the right foot as we come into a half happy baby pose, drawing the knee close in towards the chest. The left leg extends. You can use the left hand here to ground into the left thigh. Taking some deep breaths here as we open out through the hips. Then start to move the leg close towards the chest, wrapping the hands around the thigh, either starting with a bent knee, working the leg towards the body, or work towards a straightened leg. Flexing the toes towards the body. On the inhale, focus on lengthening through the leg. As you exhale, drawing it closer towards the chest. And release. We'll take the right ankle on top of the left thigh, making an all fours position. The hands wrap around the left knee, drawing it close towards the body. Keeping the right foot flexed to protect the knee joint. Breathing deeply here as we open out through the outer hip. Taking the left foot down, the knees over towards the right side, the hands come to shoulder level, coming into a supine twist. Option of gazing over towards the left to intensify this stretch. Lifting the knees back up to center, extending the right leg down. The left leg comes in towards the chest. Hand meets the foot as we draw the knee in towards the body, into our half happy baby. Option of placing the right hand onto the right thigh to ground down through the hips. Releasing the left leg, hands meet behind the left thigh, either keeping the knee bent here if anyone has any tight hamstrings, or working towards a straighter leg. Knowing that this position can feel quite intense, so being kind to yourself and gentle today, working with your body. Releasing the left leg, the left ankle meets the right thigh, coming back to our reclined pigeon position. Flexing the left toes to protect that left knee, drawing the legs close towards the chest. And releasing the legs over towards the left side, the hands to shoulder level, gazing over towards the right is an option for you. Taking a few deep breaths here, maybe closing over the eyes and noticing the sensations in the abdominals. Bending the knees in towards the body, start to rock back and forth, coming to a seated position. When you arrive at the top of the mat, taking the knees out wide, sitting onto the heels, lengthening through the spine before walking the hands forwards, coming into a wide-legged child's pose. Forehead rests onto the mat, and breathing deeply into the back. Option of coming onto the fingertips here if you'd like to intensify the stretch in the arms and shoulders. Lifting the forehead up, moving the hands over towards the right. Inhale to lengthen through the fingertips. Exhale, folding forwards. Forehead rests on the ground. Feeling a stretch here in the left side of the body. Lifting the head up, moving the hands over towards the left. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. And moving forwards, we'll come up into a tabletop position, making sure you're aligned, knees under the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. Inhale to lift the heart forwards, tailbone drops. Exhale, chin to chest, the upper back meets the ceiling. Inhale, moving forwards into our cat and cow. Exhale, chin to chest. Press through the palms. And doing a few more rounds of this at the rate of your own breath. Moving the hands forward, we'll tuck the toes, coming into a downward facing dog. Checking the foundations here, making sure the hands are shoulder distance, the feet are hip distance. Option of keeping the knees bent here as we warm up through the lower body. We've got some options of taking whichever movements feel comfortable for you, whether it's pedaling out through the heels, bending the knees and taking the hips from side to side. Stepping the right foot in between the palms, the left knee drops, untuck the left toes. Lifting up as we come into a low lunge. Imagine here that the front heel is drawing towards the back knee and noticing here the activation in the legs as you do so. Taking the hands down, stepping the foot back, lengthening through the spine. Exhale to lower to the ground. Inhale to lift the chest, heart forwards, cobra pose, gaze towards the mat. Exhale, push back through tabletop, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left foot steps in between the palms, the right knee drops, making sure the knee is over the ankle, lifting up to low lunge, hands are on the waist. Activating through the legs, imagining that you're trying to bunch the middle of the mat up together. Hands come down, the knees join, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, take the chest down. Inhale to cobra pose, hands are off the mat. Exhale to push back through tabletop, downward facing dog. Taking a few deep breaths here, releasing tension from the neck. Start to slowly walk the feet up to meet the hands in your own time. Widening the feet, taking the hips down low, we'll come into a malasana, yogic squat position. Option of rolling out through the wrists here, maybe swaying from side to side. Grounding through the feet, start to lift up, the arms reach the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive forwards, bending the knees. Inhale to lift the arms up, palms join. Exhale, sink it down to malasana. Option of keeping the hands at a prayer position. Inhale to lift and rise. Exhale to fold forwards. Inhale, lifting up, standing tall. Exhale, sink it down. Coming into a forward fold here. The feet are at hip distance, the knees are bent. Option of hugging the elbows and swaying from side to side in a ragdoll position. Hands come onto the floor, the left foot steps back, making sure the knee is over the ankle here, lifting the arms up to come into crescent lunge. Hips are square towards the short edge of the mat and we're lengthening through the side of the body. On the next exhale, taking the back foot flat, the arms come down into warrior two. Grounding through the outer blade of the left foot to engage the legs, keeping the shoulders above the hips and pressing into the right big toe. Taking the feet towards the left side of the room, the toes in slightly, the hands towards the waist. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to fold forwards. Again, option of keeping the knees bent here, to soften through the hamstrings. And trying to keep the integrity in the spine here by lengthening through the crown of the head rather than doming the back. And seeing somewhere whether you're able to soften through the body, whether it's releasing the eyebrows away from the forehead. Taking the hands onto the hips and slowly coming back, moving the feet towards the front of the mat and train tracking them slightly so there's space between them. Folding forwards onto the right leg as we come into pyramid pose. Lifting the torso up, placing the hands onto the mat, extending the left leg behind, pointing the toe, bending the knee and making big circles with the left knee, seeing if you can move with control, going in the opposite direction as we work through the hip joint. Extending the left foot behind, coming through a chaturanga here or moving through the knees to lower the chest into low cobra or upward facing dog, and then taking it back to down dog when you're ready. Connecting back to the breath here and checking in with the body. The left foot steps in between the palms, coming into our crescent lunge, sinking the hips low and drawing the left hip back. Inhale to lengthen through the arms. On the next exhale, back foot comes flat, arms draw down, warrior two. Heels in line, gazing over the left middle finger. And turning that left foot in, maybe making the stance wider if you need to, and folding forwards, hinging at the hips. Option of bending the knees. Coming into our wide-legged forward fold, our Pasarita Padottanasana. Lengthening through the spine before softly folding forwards. Coming up to a standing position, train tracking the feet, the left foot in front, the right behind, hips are square. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, exhale to fold forwards into our pyramid pose. Seeing whether you're able to draw the right heel back down towards the mat, engaging the right hamstring. Placing the hands down, lifting the right leg up, point the toe, bend the knee in and making big circles with that right knee. Seeing if you can draw them even bigger with each go. And going in the opposite direction. Extending the right leg behind. Moving through a chaturanga, all through the knees to low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spine is long. Slight micro bend in the elbows here to protect the elbows from hyperextending. Inhale, lifting the right leg up, opening out through the hips and bending the knees, seeing if you can draw both shoulders down to the ground. The right knee comes in between the palms, the right foot to the left wrist as we come into pigeon pose. So extending the left leg behind, option of staying lifted with the chest, or slowly moving the chest down towards the ground, forehead rests onto the mat. If this feels a bit too intense, coming into the reclined pigeon pose as we did at the beginning on the back, making an all four position with the legs. As we did in that position, making sure that the right foot is flexed here, protecting the knee. And on the next exhale, softening through the shoulders, releasing tension from the upper body. And slowly lifting up, sending that left foot behind, moving through a vinyasa of your choice, whether it's through the knees or through chaturanga. And we'll meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. Inhale, lift the left leg up, open out through the hips and bend the knee. And exhale, left knee in towards the left ankle, coming into pigeon pose on the left side, right leg extends. Either staying lifted, creating a small back bend here, or moving the weight forwards. Hands can rest in front, or you can make fists with the hands to act as a block, resting the forehead onto your blocks. Lifting the forehead up, using your hands to guide you, taking the left leg back. We'll come into a Baddha Konasana position here, cobbler's pose, taking the soles of the feet to touch, the knees draw down towards the mat, the spine is long. Either staying here or if there's space, moving the hands and the chest forwards. Closing over the eyes here. Drawing the attention to the hips. Using the exhales to soften through the pelvis. Start to walk the hands towards the body and lift the chest. The knees come in to touch, and we extend the legs out towards the side. Making sure the toes are flexed, the kneecaps are pointing up. Again, option of bending the knees here or sitting on something like a cushion to elevate the hips, coming into an interior tilt of the pelvis. Either staying upright or moving the hands forwards, keeping the integrity into the spine. And again, closing over the eyes. Trying to encourage the lower belly meeting the ground rather than the forehead touching the floor. Being careful not to ignore your body's intelligence here. If there's any pain or discomfort, knowing that moving out of that position at any point is always available to you. Lifting the chest up, slowly drawing the legs together, maybe wiggling from side to side. Start to lower the body down as we make our way into our final resting pose, Savasana. Taking the heels towards the corners of the mat, the arms away from the body, and closing over the eyes. Releasing tension from the heels, the hips, drawing the shoulders down, letting the back of your head rest heavy into the mat. Wiggling the fingers and the toes, creating small movements into the legs, lifting the arms up over the head, creating a full body stretch, bending the knees and rolling to whichever side is more comfortable for you. Start to make your way into a seated position. Thank you everyone for joining me. I hope that was what you needed from today's class. Sending you lots of love, stay safe, and see you next time. Bye!